I have a new obsession, and you can probably guess what it is. This video is going to be kind of a bit more chill than my usual vibe. I really wanted to go for a more chill vibe where I'm just talking to you guys one-on-one, kind of. I have become absolutely obsessed with plants, as you can tell from the top. No, seriously. I wasn't going to talk about it on my channel much because I thought, well, I'm not going to turn into a plant channel, so why should I talk about plants? And over the months, as this obsession has just got more and more prominent in my life, and plants have become so important to me, I just had to talk to you guys about it. But not just that. Because in this video I'm going to explain why plants are actually so important, the benefits it brings to the soul when you're nurturing something that is a living being and you're watching it grow and flourish, and it doesn't cost you a penny. Well, no. I have spent a little bit of my money on this obsession, I am not gonna lie. But when we look at everything that's happening in the world right now, the inflation that's happening, this new dystopian world that they are trying to create, and the fact that technology is now completely taking over every aspect of our lives, and a lot of us kind of want to go back to the basics. I never saw myself becoming one of those people that wanted to just live a simple life and live in the countryside and essentially become self-sufficient. I always pictured myself living the dream in the city, going to Hollywood and being completely engrossed in this system, but after what I'm seeing lately, it's really put me off. Anyway, I'm just rambling. You can tell that I'm really uncomfortable when I don't have a structure to my videos. I really want to give some value in this video. So, let's start with the important thing. Why should you become obsessed with plants? If you've been to the supermarket lately, you'll notice that everything is kind of skyrocketing in price. You may be noticing a little bit of food shortages, or maybe you're hearing about it happening. It may have suddenly hit you that you can't break away from this system because you have to buy food from the supermarket. So then you start pondering the idea of growing your own food, which is something that a lot of people are recommending that you do. But if you have absolutely no experience looking after plants, how are you supposed to just jump into the deep end and grow your own crops? For me, the idea of doing that was really overwhelming, and I know that this is the same for a lot of people, and it can really put them off. 2 years ago, I had absolutely no interest in plants whatsoever, or gardening. It just never appealed to me, and I was always scared that if I didn't look after the plants properly, I would end up killing them, which is what a lot of people do when they first get into plants. But since then, my plant obsession has just grown and grown and grown, to the point where I have so many plants scattered absolutely everywhere, and I probably think about them at least every 10 minutes. At this point, I can really feel like they're sending me messages through the ether. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make is plants are a gateway drug to becoming self-sufficient. Because once you learn the knack of looking after a plant, you suddenly have this epiphany that from this tiny little seed and a bit of nurture and a bit of love, you can create abundance. Do you guys remember that video I did about aloe vera and the amount of health benefits that are contained in the gel? I started off initially looking after aloe vera, and now I have so many aloe vera I don't even know what to do with them. I don't have enough pots for them, and they just keep having babies and growing, and at this point I feel like I should start a business. And it hasn't cost me anything to do this. The plants just grow. And as you've seen on my channel, I talk a lot about superfoods and natural health remedies. Well, a lot of these plants contain natural health remedies that don't contain nasty side effects because they were clearly put there by nature for a reason, you know? I still haven't got to the stage where I'm growing all of my own crops because I lacked in the confidence that I would be able to be successful at it. So what I decided to do instead was to pace myself, and now I'm finally at the stage where I feel confident that I would be able to do this because the evidence shows that I have successfully looked after all of my houseplants and they're all growing at a really fast rate. Except for my cactuses. I don't know what's going on with them. Another weird thing is that plant obsession creeps up on you. You have to have the enthusiasm to look after the plant. You have to love it and want it to grow. If you don't have the enthusiasm, then you're not going to be paying enough attention to the plant. You're kind of just going to look at it like it's a hindrance or an annoying responsibility, and eventually the plant will suffer because you're just not looking after it. Another huge benefit from plants is that it can really ease anxiety and depression. Now, you guys know me by now. I am no stranger to anxiety and depression. I laugh because I have a dark sense of humour and that's how I get through life. There is something about these plants that is so calming, and they are a living organism. They have this pure energy, and when you nurture a plant, you feel that connection with God. I really do feel like looking after plants and gardening is a spiritual experience. They also just make everything look better. Like with interior design, I mean, you can get fake plants, I suppose, but it just won't feel the same as if it's real. A plastic plant cannot give off the same energy or air purification, might I add, that a real plant will. And I'm not dissing people who have plastic plants. Everyone I know who has plastic plants has them because they believe that they will just kill any plant that comes into their house. And what I've learned is the reason for that is that they just don't know what the plant's requirements are. The thing that really changed the game for me was every time I brought a new plant into the house, I'd spend the evening researching what that plant's needs are. A lot of the reason for killing plants is either overwatering or underwatering. 2 years ago, when I was just getting into plants, they were doing okay, and then suddenly they started to wither, and I thought, oh, they need more water. And then it made it worse. So then I thought, oh, they need even more water. Next thing I know, I nearly killed them all. I do not have that problem now. And I am not saying that I'm an expert at plants by any means. Definitely not. And I would never share information on my channel that I hadn't researched the hell out of. If I wasn't completely confident that I knew what I was talking about, I don't feel comfortable sharing it because I could be wrong. However, the reason why I'm doing this video is to let you guys know that I'm gonna add a new facet to my channel, which is plants. When I say a new facet, I literally mean every now and then I'm gonna post a plant video, because like I say, I only want to post information that is tried and tested. And I know I talk about so many different things on this channel, and I'm sorry. I'm really not the type of person to be able to stick in one niche, but I do believe that you guys have multiple interests as well. You know, we're not just one-dimensional. And if you're interested in conspiracies and natural health, plants are for you. So if you're not into plants yet, eventually you will be. Let me tell you now, all of these subjects tie together because the message that I'm always sending to people is to reconnect with who you are, to not give in to the brainwashing of society and what they're all doing, because everything that they're doing is wrong. It's a mess. It's backwards. It's living upside down. I don't profess to be a Christian preaching channel, but I always feel as if whenever I speak, it is God's will. It's God's message working through me. Does that sound really narcissistic? Does it sound like I'm a cult leader? I don't know. This video is a mess. Sorry. If this is the first video that you're watching of mine, it's really not a good representation of my traditional videos. Yeah, so next week I'm going to upload a video. For anyone who is a complete novice when it comes to plants, I'm talking super duper beginner level, because that's where I was not a long time ago. And I remember how I felt at that time. I'm going to be discussing all of the beginner things that advanced channels don't really make clear. I want to make this video as non-overwhelming as possible. I've watched so many different plant channels and they give so much good advice and they really know their stuff, but I feel like sometimes they expect the viewer to know what they're talking about when they use certain words or phrases. You know, when I began, I didn't even know that different plants required different soil. I was like, what's all that about? I didn't have any clue what pruning was or propagation, but when I did find out about propagation, I was like, whoa. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video of me just rambling, then please leave me a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Love you, bye.